So the man you see above me is a police officer that goes by the name of Danny Torres. He works for the Miami-Dade Police Department, and if he looks familiar, that's because he was the same cop that arrested NFL star Tyreek Hill. And the reason why he's back in the news again is because the people have just found out his record as a police officer, and everybody's wondering how the heck was this guy even still allowed to be on the force? He has a very uncontrollable temper. And he's been on the force for 27 years. He's a 51-year-old man. As a matter of fact, let me make sure his picture's very clear for you guys to see what I'm talking about. 51-year-old Danny Torres has been suspended from the police department he works for on multiple occasions. Let me just give you a very egregious one. So one day, a concerned citizen witnessed a cop driving extremely erratic. That citizen stayed behind and followed the cop into a parking lot where the cop stopped. I think it was like a Dunkin' Donuts. The cop was going to go inside. And the citizen pulled next to the cop and said, "Hey, listen, you can't be driving like this. Like, you're supposed to protect and serve. Your lights aren't on. Like, this is dangerous." Danny was outside the shop and overheard the conversation and quickly lost it. He told the man a bunch of obscenities, then told the man to give him his license, right? This dude is now being apologetic. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I bumped into one of these cops. I don't want to get unalived. I just want to cooperate." He apologized profusely. But that wasn't enough for Danny. Danny wanted his license. Danny got his license and turned off his body camera, went back into his car and he pretty much destroyed the man's license. I don't know if he cut it, bent it. I don't know what he did, but he gave the man back his license with an already written ticket for having a damaged license. This was the only way that he could actually get at this guy, because he even told the guy, he said, "Hey, listen, you know I could arrest you for harassing my officers, right?" But in reality, what that man was saying was protected by free speech. Nobody was in danger. So Danny found a reason to hurt this man. But you might think, "Yo, breathe easy. That's not even, you know what I mean? Like, that's not a lot." I think any violation of anybody's rights is a lot, but maybe the next one will get you on board. But wait, before I forget, I gotta tell you what his excuse was when the concerned citizen reported him to internal affairs. You know what I mean? His excuse for turning off the body camera was, "Hey, I just wanted to save the battery." You know, I guess it's common practice for police officers to turn off their body camera to save battery, you know? And because the body camera was off, the internal investigation could not fully conclude that this man's rights was violated. So I think they suspended Danny, but they really should have did a lot more for what he did. And because Danny's been there for 27 years, he knows how to work the system. He knows the right things to say. And you know what? It's not even about knowing the right things to say. He knows that the blue wall of silence, the back the blue, the police gang is going to help him get through this issue. You know, so maybe, hey, listen, that might not be a big deal to you. This next one should be, okay? Because Danny was called out for a issue between a couple and their landlord. Danny gets there hot-headed as usual, as we see it on the video and as we see in his history as a police officer. This man became extremely hostile to the people who called the police in the first place. So hostile to the point where the people that called him just didn't even want him there anymore. First of all, it was a civil issue. Danny couldn't do anything about it anyway. So Danny was just like, he was literally walking away. He had his back turned. He was walking away from the property to which he was already called for, after they had like a discussion and a back and forth. And the husband yelled out like, "Yo, man, you're a horrible police officer." Nothing crazy. Mind you, even if he did say something crazy, he would still be protected by freedom of speech. He's not making any threats. Nobody's in danger. He can say to a police officer, "Hey, man, you're not doing your job right." Danny lost it. That was enough for Danny to run back up onto the property where there was a gate, a locked gate, a closed gate, and this man's wife was right behind the gate. This man, Danny, is trying to bust open the gate. He's shaking the gate. He's tussling with the gate. The wife is right behind the gate. He eventually gets the gate open. Mind you, the people on the property are telling Danny, you do not have a right to be on my property. You understand? Because Danny was walking away. No crime was committed here. Danny's just upset. He blasts the gate open. The wife that was behind the gate falls to the floor, cuts her finger, bruises up her head. She's damn near knocked out on the floor. Then he goes up to the man's face and starts to chest bump him like a thug on the street. Just like, yo, what are you going to do? Literally, that's what the report said. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Chest bumping him like he's a thug on the street. So obviously the man's not going to do anything because he realizes that this man pretty much knows he has a license to unalive him. So he lets it go. But he makes a report again. And that report got him suspended for, I believe, 10 days. And I don't know if I don't know if we're supposed to skip and high five for the 10-day suspension. But honestly, I just want you to ask yourself a question, right? How many times can you fail at a job before you get fired? Even better, if you was arrested by Danny for a felony right now, would you still be able to keep your job? Mind you, you didn't do anything at your job. You just got arrested for a felony. Would you still be able to keep your job? Danny was able to keep his job. Not only was he able to keep his job, he's a 27-year veteran. People love him in the police department. You understand? And once again, Danny had all the excuses in the world. They said to Danny, hey, listen, this couple says that you barge onto their property. You chest bump the boyfriend. You knock the wife on the floor, like the husband, I mean, and you knock the wife down on the floor. Like, what do you have to say for yourself? Danny goes, well, as soon as I heard the boyfriend yell at me that I was a horrible officer, I felt in danger. I felt like my life was in danger. I felt like the neighbors' lives were in danger. And I even felt like the woman who I pushed down on the ground, damn near gave a concussion to, I felt like her life was in danger. Remember, these guys know all the tricks in the books. You understand? They know what to say to kind of mitigate things, mitigate the punishment that they should really receive. So once again, they buy it. You understand? They buy it. And I think they suspend him for a few days. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I thought about something, you know. I thought about all of the good police officers out there, if there are any out there. You guys should be even more mad than the citizens at this point, or just as mad, because this man is making your jobs a lot harder. And at some point, if you guys, you know, if your memory serves you right, like this is the type of cop that's going to put your life in danger. You understand? Because it only takes a few times for people to see stuff like this. And we all remember what happened. What was that? 2019? Like a whole bunch of stuff was going on. You know, and a lot of police officers, they weren't patrolling the streets. They was fearful. Like even in my state, like you got to have two, even till this day, you got to have 2 officers in the car with you at all times. You got not 2, like there got to be 2 officers in a patrol car. So in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, geez, Louise Della Reese, the level of skill cannot be that poor inside of Miami or Atlanta or New York or Boston. The level of skills that the citizens have cannot be that poor to the point where you have to keep these bad apples, because they're just messing it up for the rest of the maybe possibly good apples there. So I'm thinking to myself, like, geez, Louise Della Reese, this man gets suspended for a few days and gets to go back on the force. You can't tell me that he hasn't committed a felony behind that badge he wears. 27 years, I promise you, this man has violated somebody. And the reason why he's getting caught up now is because of the body camera footage and because he messed with the wrong black man. You understand? If he didn't mess with the NFL superstar, this would have been another day. He probably would have got a promotion for this. And that's my problem. It's the lack of accountability. If we just saw you guys holding your own accountable, we wouldn't group you all together. The level of anger would be directed in one direction, at one person. But instead, we got to look at you all the same, because you all stand together even when wrong is wrong. And that's our problem. They say we hold you to a higher standard, but you guys are the lowest standard. It doesn't take anything for you guys to flip off and take away somebody's civil liberties. And we got to group them together because the group brought him back in. Let me know what you think about this down in the